Doing great work, you guys. Keep those scores high. Be impressive. Our composer's here. Okay, so let's go, you guys. On page 219.
A great opportunity with commissioning new works is not only that we have the chance to elevate the story, but also to address social issues and contemporary issues that can resonate with students, with young people, or with adults as well.
To me, there's really no difference between The Giver and any of those great Greek tragedies. They tell us how out of bounds and how damaging society can become. And teachers that I know say that kids can spend hours and hours debating little things about the story. The author Lois Lowry says the little kids wear clothes that button up the back to teach them interdependence because they cannot do that for themselves, and that at a certain age they get clothes that button up the front. And what does that teach them? And it's these little teeny tiny details of life that add up, and Lowry is just a genius at adding them up in a way that is both seamless, but you can take it out and you can look at each one.
Myself and Eric Paulson, the set designer, we decided to present firsthand a world of geometry. A world perfect where everything fits, just such as the world in which Jonas lives. Everything fits in its right place. Then, as the giver begins to receive memories, his world starts to change. Certain parts of the set become panels to create a screen. When he receives a memory, we're going to see visual images of the things he's receiving and seeing for the first time.
It's brilliantly done for music. It's just perfectly set up for a story to be sung.
I tried to use music to tell us, to give us different sound worlds. Each element of the story, let's say there's Jonas, there's his family, and they have a sound world. The chorus, which I created for this opera, has its own sound world, and the giver and his office and that part of the story has a different sound world. So I tried to use music to tell us which one of those worlds we were in. You have to feel it. Jonas is a pretty straightforward sound world because he's the most like us, and as he gets to be more and more like us, his music sounds more and more like what we think of as opera. Night after dark night, night after night. The chorus has its own sound world. They're very much about ancient sounding instruments, piccolo and trombone and percussion, instruments that I imagine they had something like that. We know they had something like that 2,000–3,000 years ago. I wanted them to have a timeless and ancient kind of sound.
A flat thing, and then you have to come in on an A natural B.
The hardest part was, how much do I have to tell of the book so that people who have not read it will be included and can stay with it, and how much of it can I drop without aggravating the people who know it and love it. So that was the balancing act that I was working on with the adaptation. I chose to focus on Jonas's growing understanding that he would be the only one in that community to experience love. So that meant beefing up his feelings about Fiona, bringing Fiona quite far forward as a character, and highlighting the difference between Jonas's growing feelings and Fiona's absolute lack of feelings, so that I could follow something that was very specific. When Jonah gets to the point in the opera where he understands that Fiona will never feel anything like what he feels, that's to me sort of the moment where he gives up thinking that he could live here.
Jonas, I think that character is important to these young students because he really stands up for beliefs that he develops based on information he receives. That's very special, I think.
Kids love that. I love that.
There's a set of twins, and they can't have twins in that society. I mean, you get one, and that's it from a birth. So the father has to take the smaller of the two twin babies and lethally inject and kill them.
I think it would be really interesting to be the role of the father and to try to internalize all that cheeriness, because it's a very cheery little scene. He's clearly done this before. And so I imagine that whoever sings the father would have a lot to chew on to get through that scene, the way it's written and the way he has to do it.
It's so disturbing. I mean, you go, oh my gosh, he's killing babies.
Away, away, day after day after day, night after dark night, night after night after night.
It has drama, it has comedy, I think it has all the elements. It has a great storytelling. It has an ending that lets you thinking about. It's open. It gives you the freedom to an opera interpretation. So that gives you a lot of elements to make a good opera.